Who's next about the hot seat in the NFL because of their firing of Brian Callahan, their head coach, this week. And so we will go around the league. Hot seat check-in. How hot is their seat, if at all? Let's start here in New York with the aforementioned New York Jets. So we know on Sunday they lose the game in London to the Denver Broncos. They have not won a game this season. There was the post-game controversy around Aaron Glenn kind of dismissing the idea of a quarterback change. Coach Glenn had a press conference this week and then updated his stance on the way in which Justin Fields played on Sunday.
You know, I thought about this a lot last night. I thought about the question that was asked. And when you look at what Justin did, the games that he played, listen, I didn't think he was bad at all. I actually thought he did some pretty good things in those 4 games. In this 5th game, he took a step back, you know, and I'm with you guys 100%. And we can't have that. You know, we have to get better than that. And he knows that. And he knows that better than anyone, you know. So I don't think you just try to bench a player after having one true bad game, because I thought the other games he played fairly well.
Okay, so that's Coach Glenn. What's interesting about that is he has cut players after bad mistakes and bad games, but obviously the quarterback position obviously is different. So Adam Schefter joins us every single Tuesday, 8 a.m. Eastern, brought to us by ZipRecruiter, and had this to say on Aaron Glenn's job security yesterday with us here on Unsportsmanlike.
Nobody is ever fully safe, okay? Nobody. I would say to you that I do think Aaron Glenn will be back. I do think behind him. I do think they think that they made the right call. All those things. Does that mean he's not going to get it at the end of the year? No. Anything's possible in this league.
So let's start with Aaron Glenn. Hot seat?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. You're in on that now.
Yeah, he's on the
I don't
hot
want
seat.
him to be.
I don't want him to be either, but there's going to have to be some tangible results behind all of the messaging that he's been having throughout the offseason, preseason, and the regular season. And if they don't find a way to run into a few wins, then I could see him getting clipped. To me, the bar to clear is 3 wins. That's exactly what Dan Campbell got in his first year in Detroit. Remember, Dan started out 0-10-1. He ended up winning 3 games that year, so there was progress that was made. We got to see the progression with Aaron Glenn's program in order for the Jets brass to have confidence that he's the guy moving forward. Now, what gives me some hope is that he's aligned with general manager Darren Muji. And so those two being on the same timeline creates an air of patience and stability. And you're hoping that that continuity is what the Jets decide to vote for at season's end. But again, you've got to have some tangible results in order to stay the course. And my biggest concern about Aaron Glenn's stance with Justin Fields is that Justin Fields has had opportunities across 3 different franchises, and I know they haven't been the best opportunities, and those franchises haven't always been the model of stability, but it's a pretty good sample size that we have with Justin Fields, and we're still asking the question of whether or not he's the franchise quarterback. And what do I always say? If you keep having to ask the question, eventually you're going to land on the answer being no. That's where I'm at with Justin Fields. He ain't your guy. He's not your guy for right now. He's not your guy for the future. Mm-hmm. I think you have to put somebody in there that is a competent NFL quarterback, somebody that has a higher floor, somebody that's more consistent, and to me, that's Tyrod Taylor. Even though Justin Fields has a higher ceiling than him, I've seen Tyrod Taylor be the quarterback for the entirety of a regular season and take a team to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's happened in the NFL. I think that's what Aaron Glenn is going to have to do, especially knowing now Garrett Wilson is going to be out for an extended period of time. You need somebody that can help the passing game come alive, because right now, the way that opposing defenses are playing the New York Jets, they are stacking the box and they are taking away what is the strength and the identity of that unit, which is running the football. And the only reason they can do that is because they don't have a competent quarterback under center.
You said something that just struck a thought when you said that Aaron Glenn and the GM for the Jets, Darren Muji, are both on the same timeline, that they came in this together, which you want. You want your front office and your coaching staff to be in alignment in that way. But if the results are not there and it's really bad, the Jets are going to be forced with an interesting decision here. Do we wipe the slate clean, start over? Hey, we got this regime wrong. We need a new GM, a new head coach, a new quarterback. Or is it going to be too tough for them to admit that, and they're going to keep this regime in place and give them more time? I mean, they just paid these guys.
You can't fire the general manager after 1 year. He hadn't even had an opportunity to do the job. You can't fire him after 1 year.
He didn't hire the coach.
But for Aaron Glenn, he hasn't had a quarterback. You can make the argument either way for both of them. And I wonder if because they're linked together, they're on the same timeline, maybe the Jets just say clean sweep.
Here's where he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt from the quarterback. He did run Aaron Rodgers out of the building, and you're seeing what Aaron Rodgers is doing now. Hindsight is 2020. I would have made the same decision.
Yeah, I think that's still the right move.
Everybody would have made that choice.
I would have got rid of him, but when you run Aaron Rodgers out, and Aaron Rodgers has the Steelers pacing the way that they have, and Justin Fields has looked the way that he has looked in several games this season, it's hard for the fan base to digest that. Justin Fields played awful against the Denver Broncos. And to be clear, Justin Fields was on his way to playing equally as bad against the Buffalo Bills. I think he was 3 of 11 in that game passing. He had a couple of fumbles, one that he lost. He was having a terrible game, and the Jets were non-competitive. So if you're Aaron Glenn, you have to be honest about what you're seeing, not only to yourself, but to the media, to the fan base, and most importantly, to the guys in that locker room, because that's who you have to be accountable to. So when you ask the question of whether or not he's on the hot seat, I would say that thing is heating up.
All right, let's go through some other ones here. Mike McDaniel, hot seat or not?
Oh
Miami
my gosh,
Dolphins.
Scorching.
Scorching?
How is it not scorching? We just talked about being linked and on the same timeline with the Jets. The Dolphins are inextricably linked. Chris Greer, Tua, and Mike McDaniel specifically with Tua are all connected. You paid him a bag of cash, and what have you gotten since then? He's a quarterback who's been injured. The results have not been there on the field. He has had issues with his teammates. He just chose to upbraid them in the media.
Sorry?
Scold.
Very well done, sir.
He chose to upbraid them.
What does upbraid mean?
Scold. He chose to publicly upbraid his teammates for the results on the field for the team as a whole. He is on the hottest of seats right now.
Let me give you the next one, CC. John Harbaugh, your former coach. Hot seat or not, tons of injuries, including the 2-time MVP, future Hall of Fame quarterback in Lamar Jackson.
I think it's a hot seat, but the organization just gave him a bag of cash last year on a contract extension, so I don't believe he's going anywhere. But I have to ask the question, based on how bad the Baltimore Ravens look, are they really closing the gap with the other teams that are perennial contenders in the AFC and the NFL as a whole? Because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like, if anything, there's been regression. And I just don't know how this roster, as they get older and more expensive, end up getting better to the point where they can give Lamar Jackson an opportunity to get back to the championship rounds and hopefully to a Super Bowl.
I like what you're doing here. This makes a lot of sense in my opinion. John Harbaugh's not on the hot seat. What this year does is put him on the hot seat for next year if they don't perform. It's a preemptive hot seat.
Can I ask you a question? What's the difference between John Harbaugh and Zach Taylor since their franchise quarterbacks got to their respective organizations?
Let's bring up Zach Taylor next. Why don't you answer the question?
I'm asking you.
So I think Zach Taylor has actually been somewhat underrated at times because of the fact he actually went to a Super Bowl, right?
Multiple conference championship games.
And
he only had one losing season with Joe Burrow, and that was his first one when Joe Burrow got cut in half by Chase Young.
And the first time around with Jake Browning was actually pretty good, the two of them together, which has made me get this horrible take of I think Jake Browning's good.
But they're looking at missing the playoffs for
organizations. Zach Taylor has had more postseason success than John Harbaugh. And Zach Taylor is the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Wait, let me do it this way then. Since the moment of arrival for Burrow and Lamar, would you rather be a Bengals fan or a Ravens fan? Since the moment of arrival, like you take that, not what John Harbaugh did in 12, or not what Brian Billick did prior, or Sam White, like none of that. Yeah. I'm saying to use your starting point.
You're closer to a championship with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I'd rather be a Bengals fan. We've been to a Super Bowl.
You're closer to a chip. Well, not just the Super Bowl. You've been to the Final Four twice.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor has had multiple playoff runs with multiple playoff wins. You know the last time John Harbaugh won multiple playoff games in a single postseason?
I'm going to guess 12 when he won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. How long ago was that? 13 years?
Been a minute.
How long are we supposed to wait?
Been a minute.
Nah, they haven't had a good quarterback, though.
Been over 4,500 days, dog, since he's won multiple playoff games in a single postseason.
It's an interesting way of looking at it. It's a good spin. I like it. Hot seat or not, here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns. Tony Rizzo, ESPN Cleveland, has gone viral with every take this week, basically, and has had enough of all of this, and I don't blame him. He's had enough of the Myles Garrett stuff in terms of the leadership. Surprised they're losing. You signed up for it. You asked out, then signed up for it. And I think while respectful of Stefanski, I think Riz has basically put out there, like, at some point you got to win in some capacity. You can't just rely on the Coach of the Year awards. Like, you need to win now. Is Stefanski on the hot seat?
Because you can always default to say that he hasn't had a quarterback, but then the question circles around and say, but isn't it up to him to develop said quarterback? So is it the chicken or the egg? Is it that Andrew Berry didn't give you the correct talent and you've had to make salad out of a chicken salad out of what you've been given? Or is it that you were given talent and you didn't develop it to the best of your abilities or to the best of their abilities? I think he's safe, but I think the seat is warm.
Oh, I don't think anybody in Cleveland is safe. I don't assume that at all, especially with how quiet owner Jimmy Haslam has been. He's taken a hands-off approach on all of this. He's empowered his people. Think back to how he handled the Myles Garrett situation, telling the player to talk to the GM and the head coach. He has allowed them to run it the way they want to run it.
That's a good point.
If they can't find their way out of this mess when it comes to quarterback roulette, then all of a sudden I could see a scenario where everybody's out of there, even with the owner giving them contract extensions a year ago. Now, the question becomes, who wins out when it comes to the versus between the two quarterbacks? Andrew Berry, his guy, Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel, his guy is Kevin Stefanski is Dylan Gabriel's. Mm-hmm. So whoever ends up winning out on that is going to be fascinating. But I think how they handle the rookie quarterbacks is going to go a long ways to determining who has job security in Cleveland.
You wonder if this weekend Miami and Cleveland is a loser leaves town match with the head coaches. Just throwing that out there. Last one, AFC coaches on the hot seat. Pete Carroll in his first year with the Raiders?
Yes.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yes.
You do because what? Hey, we tried this. It didn't work. Maybe.
It's bad and you're old.